Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to an unnamed podcast, formerly known as Random Encounters. We're still looking for a name, so if anybody has one, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm Dan, joined as always by You Teach Me, and I'll teach you, Mex.
Hello.
Getting drunk on a Wednesday, Steve.
It's vacation.
What are you drinking?
Gin and tonic.
Okay.
And he was a stick figure, then he was a still image, and now he's 2 frames a second, Jeff.
You're moving on up in the world. You are moving on up.
I swear, like 6 more weeks, I'll be a normal human being on a camera talking to people I met a couple weeks ago. It's only a matter of time.
Well, it's been a pretty slow week in news. Maybe a lot of times to play some games. Let's start with you, Mex, because we know what you've been playing. What have you been playing?
Pokemon. I did, though, unlock Jigglypuff in Smash Brothers, so I
Okay.
am ready to play Smash Brothers when you are.
I'm ready to go. We can get on immediately after this if you want and go to town.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Steve, play anything new this week?
Kind of. I was playing a little bit of Galaxy of Pen and Paper, which is actually a cross-platform. No, that's not the right word. What is just multi-platform game? Because it is on Steam, but it's also on mobile. So, yeah, I was decking around with that because I haven't had enough time to sit and actually play anything. So, just that.
Good stuff. Jeff, anything new this week?
Yeah, I've been without a computer all week, so I've burned through about 14 chapters of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance on the GameCube. And a couple days ago, I finally got around to playing Tetris Effect. Gorgeous game. Love it.
Yeah. Yes. It's I bought that and I have not turned it on yet. I'm a little ashamed of myself. My PlayStation's unplugged right now and I have not actually downloaded it. I bought it but did not download it yet.
Is that the VR game?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to say once we get past 8-9 frames a second, I'm going to have to challenge you to some online Tetris.
That sounds cool to me.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I don't know if it's going to get the views of a shiny, but there are some shiny ass blocks in that game, so
I
think
think
get some cross section in there.
As long as we just put Mex in the corner, I think people will come.
We should just have him in the corner, just like dancing with Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I can do that.
With just dancing.
Or just pretending to catch you while playing Tetris Effect.
I'm in Tetris. I'm just moving the blocks myself.
You're gonna be a meme of a Tetris block real soon.
Probably.
Yep. Dan, if you're here, you know what to do.
No.
Well, I've been playing nothing but Smash Brothers, and getting irrationally mad at anybody playing as Simon Belmont because I cannot beat them. All they do is just keep chucking projectiles at me, and I just get madder and madder and swear and curse. And I've gotten to the point now where I just jump immediately off the map as soon as a Simon is sitting across from me.
So and now I got my game plan ready.
Yes, if you want to just completely piss me off, nothing but Simon or Richter. I think, is it Richter the other one? I know there's an Echo Fighter of him too. The other thing, if you listen to other podcasts, every other podcast in the world keeps talking about this game called Ding Dong XL. And I finally got
like Mount Your Friends.
Should I Google that or
no? It's not. You can Google it. It's safe. It's safe for work. It is just a simple arcade game for mobile and Steam, and I would 100% recommend it. I thought that people were just, it was a big joke that everyone was talking about Ding Dong XL. It's awesome. It's a like Frogger, but faster, I guess. You just try to get from one side of the area to the other without hitting any blocks, and it progressively gets faster, and it's the greatest waste of time I've ever played. So look forward.
What was it called?
With a sales pitch like that?
Yes.
What was it called? I'm looking in the
Ding
App
Dong
Store right
XL.
now. Ding Dong XL.
Ding Dong XL. It's 50 cents on.
Oh, it's 50 cents. I'm not gonna pay.
No, it's $1 on mobile. It's 50 cents on Steam right now.
Well, you just made it twice as bad.
Man, that's a steep price there.
I think there might be a free version with ads in it.
Ding Dong.
already wrote it down above my Forza Horizon license plate.
So yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Every time there's a Steam sale, I've been trying to get people to buy Genital Jousting, but nobody will pull the trigger even at like 25 cents.
I'm 90% sure I have that.
Yeah, is that
Well, you two can
that's the
play with
game
each
where
other
you
then.
try to get wiggle around and get inside, get all in there? Yeah.
You're literally a Shaft and Spheres to say it correctly, and it's basically like a MarioWare where there's just a whole bunch of mini games where you play as a set of genitals, and it looks like it would be a fun like screw around evening type game, but
At the risk of absolutely ruining any credibility on the internet, we may have to joust with genitals.
I'm for it.
Go for it.
You said it goes down to 25 cents. I don't know. I don't think you've asked me to buy it because I'll buy literally anything for 25 cents.
it's
Well,
usually
this-
like a buck or
Ding
two.
Dong XL for 50.
I paid $1 for it. There's only one news story this week. It's been a slow day, a slow week, and thank God Nintendo blessed us with an indie showcase this morning, or else this would have been a really, really slow show. So Nintendo UK produced a little showcase. It wasn't a direct. I'm glad they didn't call it a direct, so everyone didn't get too excited. But there was some pretty decent news that came out of it. First thing, they led off with, Advance Wars. Nintendo has forsaken you fans, but Chucklefish comes in to save the day. Wargroove is out February 1st. Anybody excited about this one?
I'm very excited for this one. Give me a tactic strategy game. I'm in. It doesn't matter how boring the characters look, how much they're trying to rip off Final Fantasy Tactics. I will buy it. I will play it. I say will buy it. It's waiting for February 1st. It's preloaded.
What
There
do
you
think,
go.
Steve? I know you really like Final Fantasy Tactics.
I do. I wanna see more about the game before I make up my mind though, because I really loved Final Fantasy Tactics, and to a lesser extent, some of the other games surrounding it, like Tactics Ogre, had a version that was very similar. But I like a little bit of complexity or depth to it, and that's something that even though I played the shit out of what was the game that it looks like just
Advance
called
Wars.
Advance Wars. That game was almost a little too simple because it's all about resource management and then building a unit that doesn't do anything in particular. Like you can't upgrade it or anything. You just which units are you throwing at each other in a rock paper
That's-
scissors style.
That's why there's no new Advance Wars game, because they can't
Yeah.
figure out how to build character.
Yeah,
Which is
I mean,
probably about the time I switched to Fire Emblem.
yeah, you had a general that could level up and have its own powers, but it didn't really get any more complex. Whereas I don't really care about building a bunch of anonymous units. That's too like RTS for me. I want something where it's like I have 5 units that I've been cultivating, and they've been, I'm making them individually stronger. So we'll see. It looks like this one has heroes, but I want to know what you can do with it first of all, because that's what adds to the game for me.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you know exactly what's in it.
Well, I'm interested in it because almost everything on this list, if not actually everything on this list, is coming to Steam if it hasn't already been there. So it's a great opportunity to look at games that I might want to play later down the line, because this stuff's going to be super cheap on Steam in 3 months after it comes out, whereas you guys are going to have to pay full price for it forever.
Well, the nice thing about Wargroove specifically is it is cross-play right out of the box. So you'll be able to play with Xbox users, Nintendo users, and Steam users all together. So you'll be able to do all the multiplayer and the map, share maps and all that good jazz that they announced. So that should keep it relevant on all platforms.
I will never do that.
You will never build a
Buy
custom
it,
map.
No, I haven't bothered with anything multiplayer or interacting with another human since.
What are you talking about? You play D&D like every week, don't you?
No, they keep flaking out. But that's with the same 4 people. I mean, interacting with the general public. I haven't done any of that since
The randoms,
Overwatch.
The random people.
And that's fun, and then you get a whole bunch of shitty players, and I'm like, I'd rather just play a single player game. I have to deal with them.
Well, Wargroove was definitely the big announcement. I don't think it surprised anybody that they led off with that. I think pretty much everybody knew Wargroove was going to be there. The game they announced was Double Kick Heroes, which I don't really even know how to describe this game. It's
a rhythm metal shooter.
Yeah, that's their tagline on it.
That's
so
the only thing you need.
It says this is coming to Switch. Do you think they'll make like a guitar or something for it?
I think it's more about, I think it's drumming. So I think you could, from what the minuscule amount of knowledge I know about it is there's only 2 notes that you have to hit, and I think you just put a Joy-Con in each hand and just do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's no fun. I need the the full guitar experience.
We could probably mod in one of your Guitar Hero guitars. And
I do have one of them with the USB input, so maybe.
Yeah, we can make this work.
I think always have a soft spot for these rhythm games.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I love
I'll
them
probably check it out.
Especially, I mean, it seems like it's not just going for the standard. Stop doing that! You're making me laugh. The standard.
I'm out of touch. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Cyclone in chat. This is him. I made a shirt.
He made a shirt with his face on it.
Looks like a happy kid.
Let's continue.
But, it looks like it's not. It looks like it's not just going for another like standard rhythm game. It added, some extra story, little bits to it, and you're doing rhythm, but it's shooting stuff, and there's metal and custom songs, and it looks like a good time for everybody.
Yeah, I'll play it if it's under $20. 20 or less.
I would imagine it would probably going to fall into that category. Next up was When Ski Lifts Go Wrong. Just wrote bridge constructor with ski lifts as a note because that's exactly what it looks like.
You just spoiled their entire pitch when they started making the game.
Next.
Forager. And when I saw this thing, it was just like somebody just went through all of the highest buzzwords on Steam and was like, all right, we need to make a game with all the stuff. It needs to be an open world farming.
I want Binding of Isaac and putting it in one game.
One really weird looking game. That's Forager. Don't have any interest in that one.
I didn't look at it, but did you look at it, Jeff? You seem to. Did you Google all of these?
No, I watched through the presentation, took some notes, like a professional.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I see. The thing is, this guy right here, I like him.
He's putting the effort into it. Yeah, that's good. Not like me, where I come here, 5 minutes before we start, and be like,
"You're just
what the hell are we doing today?"
This is like our 3rd date. It's getting super weird, though.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I like the Zelda-y overtone it kind of has to it. But anytime that the sprite and the sword that they're using is like the same size, it's just an immediate turn off for me. So that's what that game is.
I got temporarily excited about it because there's a publisher that made a game called Magicite, and then later they made a game called Roguelands, and they were pretty good, but it looks exactly the same, like the same kind of off pixel art style. And then I found out it's not made by them, and I was like, I'll see what the reviews say before I get excited.
Is it like Stardew Valley? I didn't watch the video, so I'm sorry.
I mean, there's farming. There is farming involved. I mean, I'm telling you, they just mashed up every single game every indie game that came out in the last 10 years and made one game out of it, and that's what it is.
But if they do it well, it'll be a good game.
I mean, and it's probably going to get the Nintendo Switch bump. Stuff just does really good on the Nintendo Switch. The attach rate's insane.
Yeah, I meant to look through it the other day. It's probably embarrassing the amount of games that I already own that I rebought for the Switch because I can play it on my ass on the bus.
There you go. I mean, if I had a bus trip, the Switch would be the greatest thing in the world. It's I already love
a round trip. I get to play. The Joy-Cons are loud enough that nobody wants to sit next to me. It's the perfect travel companion.
Perfect. Well, maybe on your next bus trip, you can play Goat Simulator, the Goaty.
So I wrote down notes for these, and I just wrote in all capital letters, pass.
You're telling me that a game that it features a dolphin in a wheelchair is not something that you're interested in?
It's nothing you haven't seen on
it's the same. It's
YouTube video of Goat Simulator.
Yeah, I've played on like a Kindle at my mother-in-law's house because she had it for some reason, and I'm like, this is weird, and then I didn't play it ever again.
Yeah, I think we've all played Goat Simulator for like an hour, and that was
The
about it.
exact amount of time you should play Goat Simulator.
It's the epitome of just a gimmick that went too far, and they made a whole game and a bunch of DLC about no premise whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, they've embraced it. They have an MMO. There's like a Star Wars knockoff game. I mean, what the hell, man? Put it on Switch. It'll probably sell really well.
But they all suck. That's the problem.
I have the next game we have on the list is Inmost. I wrote as a note, pixely puzzle platformer, which is hard to say really fast.
It's a gorgeous art style, and it's going to be one of those games that critics are just raving about and pressuring you to buy.
Yeah,
and you'll put down like 15 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a pass then.
Send over some review codes. Maybe we'll see.
I'll send out. I'll try to get review codes for whatever we can get here. That's the ultimate goal of this entire endeavor is just to get review codes.
Did you guys ever play or hear about I think it was called Inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes. It was like a black and whitish sepia tone game that
a critically acclaimed artsy game that critics told you to buy.
And I was like, oh, that looks really fucking boring, but yeah, I'm sure people would be interested in it. And this looks basically just that over again. In fact, Inside and Inmost, almost the same thing going
They're probably just trying to use some psychology to try to get you to buy it. So the next up, we got Unruly Heroes. I wrote not pixel art, so that's good because I think this is like the first game that's not a pixel art game from this whole showcase. It looks like a 4-player action platformer where each character has different abilities. This one actually looks pretty fun.
There's only one thing that's keeping me from wanting to get this game, and it's the effect of, okay, we don't have a license attached to it. There's no characters but we're going to make a big, massive game that we think you're gonna love, but there's just nothing there to keep. Like, you're not invested in anything in the world.
Yeah. My problem is that I don't have 4 people to play with.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He won't buy it.
Maybe
you
not
play
Steven.
Before I do. You
Steven.
play. You go to bed when I start playing video games. I'm not actually friends with you on any of my systems, so I don't know when you I video games.
Okay, your cameras are in different order from my cameras, so it's very confusing.
Am I still in the top corner? Which
you're in my top right corner.
This is Ryan.
This is like
correct.
Jeff.
No.
Hold on.
No.
Is anybody over here?
Oh wait, I'm backwards because I'm looking at myself in Discord.
You're backwards. You're backwards.
Jeff.
Yes.
Dan.
No, Jeff. Dan.
Yep.
Ryan.
Yep, that's right. For our purposes.
Crosscode. Another one that looks pretty interesting.
Top-down action RPG.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty fun little top-down little action game.
What does that mean? Is that like Warcraft?
No.
Yeah, it's a re-release because it's already out on Steam.
I mean, just a top-down action.
Yeah, it's a fake MMO in that there's going to be other players going around doing stuff that you can interact with, but they're all actually NPCs, but it still makes it feel alive.
Like a hack situation.
Yeah, pretty much just like that. There's a guy on Kotaku, I read his article because he said he played it late, but it would have been his game of the year for last year. So it's getting high marks, but
I wrote looks interesting 2019, so it left an impression.
Yeah.
SteamWorld Quest.
That's a pass.
So I played SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2. I didn't play. What was the other SteamWorld game that they came out with?
That one's so good.
Is that one good? I haven't played that one. I'll have to look into that. SteamWorld Quest just looks like Slay the Spire, but SteamWorld.
They're a developer that's earned my trust where I won't question them going into a game.
So it's a deck building. It's Slay the Spire. If you've played Slay the Spire, it looks exactly like that. But yeah, I haven't been disappointed with anything that they've done in the SteamWorld universe, so let's give it a go.
I'm the opposite. I played SteamWorld Dig for an hour and I never touched it again.
It helped
We're the one who played Terraria to death.
Yeah, so I don't know why I missed the mark. I don't like steampunk type stuff, and it kind of sits along that vein, so...
It is getting up there with how overused zombies are.
Yeah,
I see it. I mean, you gotta it's a nice, easy way to put, a little flair on your game without trying too hard.
I think the longer we go, the more delayed Jeff gets in his video and audio. So at the end of the stream, he's gonna be like, he'll be talking, but he won't actually say anything for like 10 minutes.
We'll be doing the credits. He's like, "What do you mean you don't like SteamWorld?"
Well, that was the whole indie showcase. They closed out the show by showing a bunch of games that were already out. There's a fantastic library of indie games already on the Switch. So
I think that depressed the hell out of me.
What's that? The little showcase? Oh, the shirt?
I have all of those games on the showcase at the end except Donut County, and I don't know why I don't have Donut County.
You should probably get Donut County. I have it on my phone. I didn't buy it for Switch. It's cheaper on Android.
So I know. Right. Having said that, next week it'll be on sale in the store.
Probably. I haven't actually sat down to play it because I've been too ingrained in Ding Dong XL recently. But I need something I need to put some more time into. See, what are you rustling papers over there? Do you have some notes?
Oh, I got tons of notes.
I muted everybody for a second. What are we talking about right now?
Nothing.
That's what we're talking about.
Any closing statements? Anything else to say about
TV.
the indie showcase? This is a train wreck tonight.
Look, I shifted in my seat, hit mute, and then all of a sudden it's like, I've got notes. So it's like, shit, what do we have notes on? What are we talking about?
Cyclone, your face is, every time it comes up on the camera, I completely lose my train of thought. I'm blaming this entire episode on you. But this next topic is not going to help anything at all. There's a new esport.
Speaking of train wreck, where are we going with this one?
Yeah.
We'll skip through the indies.
We didn't skip. You muted, and I asked if anybody had anything to say, and you were on mute.
Yeah, we're going to go back for a second.
All right, go back for a sec. Go ahead and say something.
He's got some thoughts.
Yeah, I actually got really excited for Switch users when they had the little end thing, because a shitload of those games are really good. If you've never played them before, there's some that I'd throw in as like must-haves. I love Stardew Valley. I think that is definitely a must-have game. I probably don't like it as much as everybody else, but I'd still give huge props to Dead Cells, especially because I haven't played through a bunch of their new updates, so I'm sure it's really good. Hollow Knight got a bunch of props. Darkest Dungeon is really good. I think it's another one of those more, I don't know, critically acclaimed than actually interesting games, but Undertale, a lot of people love that. Shovel Knight,
very, very devoted fan base for Undertale.
Yeah, Shovel Knight, Into the Breach, and Binding of Isaac are all also like super solid picks. Like they went through, and it's almost like they scraped the top like 30 indie games from Steam, and they're just like, yeah, let's just put these on Switch.
I mean, when Switch came out of the gate, they knew that they were going to have especially the year one, they were going to have a good first-party title like every other month, but they also devoted a lot of attention. That's where these, like the word indie came from, is because right out of the gate, they were going to support the indies and try to get as many on there, and they have all flourished. I mentioned it earlier, but a lot of those games have higher sales numbers on the Nintendo Switch with a much smaller install base than they do even on Steam. So, I mean, if you're an indie fan and you like playing games on the go, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't own a Nintendo Switch.
I've actually hit the point where I stopped buying indie games, and I'm waiting for the Switch announcement 2-3 months later.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I mean, all these games are really good. They deserve a lot of respect and support, and being put onto a new platform that's mobile means that people will buy it twice. So they're gonna get into a really nice spot for like a re-release of some of these games, and I'm really happy to see that.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I've never been much of an indie game player until the Switch. I mean, you can look at my Steam account; it's not even that old. It's like 2 years old. I've never been much into that, but the Switch is just a perfect excuse to pick up a game and play it for a few minutes and put it down, and indies are like the perfect game for that.
A few minutes? Am I using the Switch incorrectly?
He's talking about taking a shit while he plays.
Yeah, there you got it. All right, can I talk about this new esport now?
Yes.
This thrilling new
Tell us.
Enlighten
shatter
us.
the internet with it.
Steve, you want to go ahead and let the kids know what the next great esport is?
Yeah, so they dumped approximately 284. Well, actually, nears makes no difference. $285,000 into a farming simulator as an esport.
Holy shit! I will play that in a heartbeat.
I couldn't be happier to hear that, because esports are always these like overly competitive. Let's do the meta and learn the meta and be super reactionary Twitch games, and then they're like, well, we used to do farming simulator as like, the sideshow for the fun in some of these things, and then they're like, no, let's actually make it the esport. And I'm so happy to hear something stupid like that, because I think that's where all the good creativity comes out. I don't know all the different stuff they're doing, but one of them is like they compete in teams to see who can stack hay bales, because it's actually difficult to work all the controls because it's a sim. So it's not like press A to lift and lower. It's like a little bit more involved.
It's not like press A to show respect or
no.
It was my understanding that it actually was an esport already. They just weren't dumping that much money into it, and it was just competitive one-person competitive hay bale stacking. And now you're on team 3, and I really hope it gets the full treatment. I want to see like the London Spitfire of Farming Simulator.
Yeah, I
want to see the betting odds, because Max and I are two degenerate gamblers that like to bet on video games, and if there's lines to be bet on, bets will be placed.
I used to watch the Dota International. I watched it for like 3 or 4 years straight and got really into it. And I haven't been able to get back into it since they like radically changed the game and all the players are still all over the place. But I would hardcore get into like the international farm sim esport, where they sit there and they do like player profiles, or it's like Demon McCree is the fastest loader in the Southeast Asian area. And they do like a backstory of how, he'd be sitting in his parents' home stacking hay bales, and they're like, we never thought he could make it, but he did.
No, his parents were always skeptical and told him to go to college instead of playing his farming simulator.
Yeah.
But look who's on top of the world now.
I need like 2, Dota level, 1 normal caster, 1 shoutcaster, where he's like, load the fuck, he did it.
So what game is this actually?
Farming Simulator 19.
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
I feel like they haven't gone far enough with this. They need to make it like a reality show where they actually take them to a farm and make them work all day, then go to the game competition.
We need to trademark this idea right now.
Like a biathlon,
cut
half real farming, half virtual farming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do you want to just get really good at this, Max?
Farming simulator?
Yeah. Do you want to get like really good at Farming Simulator?
I mean, that sounds like a $60 game, so probably not.
Probably not.
It sounds like an untapped market.
I don't know. Actually, hold on. Let me look at Twitch right now. How many people are watching Farming Simulator right now?
I bet there's a bump today because they just announced this esport thing. But
Farming Simulator 2019 is $35, but if you wait like I don't know, where are we? There's going to be like a spring break in 2 months. I'm sure you can get it for $15.
There's only 590 people watching Farming Simulator right now.
But
that's
like
it's not like one of those
people than we're watching you today.
Yeah,
you can just tap that entire, bring in all of the Pokemon friends. Just put like a name the farm like Pokemon Acres, and you'll combine your two
Chansey
one.
Farms.
Shiny Chansey Farms. Yeah, that's
there
good.
you go. Perfect. Is Farming Simulator like Train Simulator, where the DLC is 1,900 times the cost of the base game?
No, because that's more like for every train that's ever existed, there's a separate $20 DLC. Where Farm Simulator, I don't think they get that.
You don't have to get like the John Deere expansion, the International Harvester DLC Deluxe.
No, that could be his tagline.
Do you want to be the best or not?
Yeah, gotta catch all the.
Gotta pay for that Kentucky Bluegrass DLC.
There you go. There you go.
Well, in other insane news, Steve actually wants to buy a new game.
Mm-hmm.
Market What's the
Now,
date? What's the time?
There's a caveat to this because
Of course
It's
there
not a
is.
game.
Yeah.
I really want the game. I can't actually afford the game.
He's
'cause
buying it with Marlboro points.
What is it? What
Yeah.
is it?
What do you think it is? I want everybody to take a stab at this.
You can't afford a game? Does this mean it's coming out on Switch because you don't have a Switch?
Yeah, it's brand new, so it's top dollar.
So it's a $60 game.
On any console?
No PC.
PC only?
No, I think it's multi release.
Resident Evil 2 remake?
What's the release window?
That's your guess.
I have
what
no
was that,
idea
Jeff?
what games are actually coming out, so just skip over me.
Okay, Jeff.
You look like a Senran Kagura guy.
Oh, what?
Senran Kagura. It's
You-
tap
you-
high school anime girls and they giggle and
What
you
the
look like
fuck?
that kind of guy.
No.
I genuinely have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm just throwing it off the wall.
Anthem.
Yeah, somebody went with Anthem. No, actually, I'm super psyched for Ace Combat 7.
Oh, yeah. The reviews are coming in pretty okay for that game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sound like a total dick. It'll be in the mail tomorrow.
no, I don't actually think it was an Ace Combat game, but it was like a clone of it years ago, and I played the ever living shit out of that, and I really enjoyed it because it's really difficult to find the best combination of having controls where you can get technically in depth with what you're doing without the controls being so complex that you're just flying right into a mountainside over and over again. So it needs to be arcadey, but not too arcadey. And Ace Combat is usually really good about that. But they've been on a kick of these like sort of offshoot games that haven't been doing well. And all of a sudden, I saw Ace Combat 7 pop up, and it was getting really good reviews. And I was looking into it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is right up my alley," because there's a ton of different jets. You can customize all the parts on the jet, as in like you can buy different thrusters or different wing parts to make them react differently in the air. So it's more RPG-ish. You're actually equipping each jet with shit. That's something I'm really good for. The story looks really dumb, but that's not what I'm playing it for. So historically,
they do always seem to have like a weird Devil May Cry over the top story.
yeah, like it's just here is a really weird excuse to just fly shit at each other. So
I watched Joel from Last Gamer like losing his mind over playing it in VR, and that was enough for me to go, yeah, I should probably give this a shot.
I think I would barf. I'm barfing in my mind right now just thinking about playing that game in VR.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be fun.
yeah,
I tried playing one of the racing games in VR, and I was sick until yesterday.
So Dan, I will give you a review of that game
2022.
in November, maybe when it comes on sale.
I'll reach out
on the summer
I'll reach
Steam
out for
sale.
a review code. I get a lot of we can't offer anything at this time, but it's always worth asking.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Like, that's
all into
6
that.
people who lost out on hearing about it.
Yeah.
Hey, there's 9 people here.
Oh, cool.
All right, so as you
I
can
don't
tell,
watch
this
that.
this week's show is a little late, so we're gonna play a game. IGN released a list of 39 movies that are based on video games that are currently in production or have been announced, and I took that list and added a few extras in there. And I'm going to list some video game movies and some facts about them, and you guys are going to try to guess which ones are real and which ones are just out of my mind. We'll start out with let's go with Carmen Sandiego. Jane the Virgin star Gina Rodriguez is set to play Carmen Sandiego in a live-action and animated series produced by Netflix.
God damn it, that sounds real.
Well, he said real, so I guess I have to say fake. Although I did watch Carmen Sandiego a lot when I was a kid.
They've basically rebooted every moment of my childhood, so it makes perfect sense that it's real.
All right, what do you think, Steve? Carmen Sandiego movie, real or not?
Fake. There's a Netflix show coming out, and I don't think they're gonna split.
It's there. It's 100% real. It's produced by Netflix. Netflix is making the live action movie as well.
They gonna get Rockapella in there?
They better. I mean, would not be Carmen Sandiego without Rockapella. All right, this was a little twofer. Centipede and Missile Command. MoviePass Films partnered with Atari to produce these films.
That's all you got? That's the description?
I couldn't tell because you like froze on my screen. So
description.
Is that it?
It's that's all I got.
Sacha Baron Cohen plays a centipede.
I'm gonna say real because there's no more information.
That's actually probably not a bad way to guess these two, because the ones that are real are taken right out of IGN taglines, and the ones that are fake are things that I added to. So.
Already broke this.
Centipede and Missile Command are both 100% real.
Nice.
A lot of plot to work with on that.
Yeah.
A rich lore to build.
You know, a centipede walks around and shoots the missiles, and the world blows up.
Didn't they already do that with that god awful Adam Sandler movie where all the
they kind of did, but
imagine that for a 2-hour runtime.
I actually like that movie, the one with the video games. I didn't think it was that bad.
I've actually never seen it.
You almost killed him.
I mean, it wasn't.
Like, I gotta see it now.
It wasn't that bad.
Nope.
Are you okay, Steve?
I'm great.
Sounds like it.
I do not drink straight vodka, but it's the only liquid I have left down here, and that was a bad decision.
Sarah just started laughing like 30 seconds later. She's watching.
Next up, Pong. The announcement that Atari Classic turned up in 2007 with director Guy Ritchie attached to the project. It was rumored to tell the story of Sasha Volkov and Rudolf Nassis, world champion and rival players from the 70s.
I don't think you're capable of making up that backstory, so I'm going to say real.
No, but that Guy Ritchie has fallen from Snatch to making Pong. Seems appropriate.
Fake.
I'm gonna say fake, and that somebody should go check on him.
And Steve, you say fake too?
I don't. What movie?
Pong.
Fake.
That one's fake. I made that one up.
Damn it.
I used a random name generator and put Russia and like Norway in to create those two names.
No, they already made that movie, and it was called the 5-minute portion of oh shit, what's the Tom Hanks character where he played Pong? Fuck.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, where he just played Pong and won the Olympics and everything. That's Pong the movie in 5 minutes.
I could tell you, name me 10 things from Forrest Gump, and I guarantee you nobody else would mention the Pong scene.
No, that was the greatest.
I'm on you, man. I got it. I'm pretty well depth in my Forrest Gump trivia. All right, Duke Nukem. Gearbox Software has reportedly teamed up with Assassin's Creed producer Jean-Julien Bonnet to adapt Duke Nukem into a movie. John Cena is rumored to star.
That's real. John Cena is Duke Nukem.
I don't know. Isn't The Rock, more popular right now?
Yeah, but John Cena looks like a middle-aged dad out of the 90s. And
I'm gonna go fake. I'm gonna go fake. I think we're getting two fakes in a row.
Steve.
I want to say real because I want to see it. I actually like John Cena as a person and as an actor.
That one's real.
Damn it! I'm terrible at this game.
I don't. Yeah, I don't even know what's happening.
Who's got the point tallies? I think I'm in last place.
Nobody's. We're not keeping track of any of this.
Right.
Fruit Ninja.
Initials and stop there.
Fruit Ninja. In 2016, it was reported that a live-action family comedy based on Fruit Ninja is in the works.
That's too fucking
heard nothing
stupid to
since.
be fake.
I'm gonna say it stars Jack Black and a talking penguin, and that it's real.
Max?
I have no opinion.
Fruit Ninja's real.
That would be a Chris Farley movie if he was still alive.
Chris Farley, you dead bastard.
He most certainly is.
All right, we'll do 2 more.
That was more of a depression, you dead bastard.
Why'd you have to be so dead?
Yep.
Fortnite, based
Yeah.
on Save the World, and they have the voice actors of Ramirez, Kyle, and Kay already on board.
Is
Are they gonna
Ninja
come
in the
out with,
movie? Is Ninja in the movie?
It was not reported.
Ah.
Are they going to come out with a free-to-play movie first, and then the actual movie comes out 3 years later?
Other way around. They're going to put a whole bunch of money into a really expensive movie and then put it out for free a few years later.
Yeah, they'll call it PUBG, and then the second movie will be Fortnite.
Yeah, they'll just put it up on YouTube and be like, here you go.
What do you guys think?
Real. It's got to be
If
real.
it's not real yet, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's real.
I made that one up. That one's fake.
Joke's on you. It probably is real.
It's getting greenlit right now.
I gotta
Yeah.
think. I got so many good ones. So many good ones.
Give us one more. One more.
Yeah, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more. Let's go with Metro 2033.
It's a
The
book
movie
by that
adaptation of
movie.
Metro 2033 is on hold after screenwriter F. Scott Fraser butted heads with Metro creator Dmitry Glumovsky over the film's setting.
Russia?
Is that a real movie that's on hold, or did I just make that up?
I'm going to go fake.
I feel
You
like
told us you have a big list of fake movies.
you took the headlines from the Witcher movie and replaced them with the Metro movie.
Actually, I have one more I want to close out with.
I'll say real.
That one's real.
Nice. Redeemed.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, real. 100% real. I don't even
It was
need to hear what
reported
it's
that
about.
Harold Court of the Karate Kid remake would be heading up the film that being made by Sony Pictures Animation.
Animated movie, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'll give you a real.
You could do it just like, the Thomas cartoon. You could have little talking, roller coaster cars talking to each other, figuring out how to push each other up the hills and whatnot. I don't know.
What?
Never mind. Never mind. You obviously have not watched enough Thomas the Train or whatever it's called.
Yeah, they'll all be like giant-eyed roller coaster cars, and they'll work together for a common goal.
There you go.
Opening the theme park, I guess.
It does sound like you've watched it, but
It sounds like hell.
I got a nephew.
you better get used to it.
You have a
better get
daughter.
used to it,
I don't
Steve.
know. You could probably steer her down the direction away from Thomas the Tank Engine.
No, we're firmly a Trolls household, and thank God for that. That's actually probably one of the best little kids shows, because it's one of those ones where they ingrained a lot of adult stuff into it, and there's some dark moments in there that would go completely over kids' heads, and you're sitting there like, did they really just talk about cannibalism in this little children's show?
Roller Coaster Tycoon's real.
Nice.
Oh, they're making a Tetris movie, so
They are.
Why
They
not?
are actually a Tetris trilogy.
well, you got to get the origin story out of the way first. How did he become a straight block?
Some other real movies that are in the works include Firewatch, Half-Life, Just Dance. I probably could have thrown you on that one.
Wait, Half-Life the trilogy, and the third one will never come out.
Yeah. That would... Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make it Just Dance, but that one just got announced not that long ago.
It'll be like Bring It On or any of those dance competitions.
I think that's what it actually is. I think it involves some kind of Bring It On type situation.
You can shoehorn any bullshit story into any of these. I mean, I was super skeptical when they came out with the Emoji movie before they showed anything about it. It was like, how do you make a movie out of emojis? And they did. It was like, oh, you make it really bad. That's how you do it.
I think they're making an emoji movie too, so look forward to that. We also got Super Mario, Uncharted. Some other ones that I had made up were Paperboy and Joust. But that's that. We still have 15 minutes left, so we need some filler. We need some fluff stories. So are we okay with the one that's on the page? Has anybody yet?
There's only
Surprise
one more
me.
left, isn't there?
Well, on account of the only dot left I have on the page.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you were saying something that you heard another podcast or YouTuber say something about Mario Kart Maker and you
Yeah,
want that game really bad.
He was talking about how he wants Super Mario Maker ported to the Switch, and he stumbled and said Mario Kart Maker. It's been in my head ever since I heard it. It's a perfect game.
I think it
You
would.
have
The
all
Super
the assets
Nintendo
and
one,
technical stuff.
or
You could probably do Super Nintendo graphics or Switch graphics like they do in Mario Maker. You got an entire history of voice callouts. All the assets are already built. You just throw it on top of like a what was that go-kart game Sony tried to make?
Sony tried to make.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's like Little Big Planet, but not Little Big Planet. Mod Nation Racers.
Oh, there you go.
Bunch of user-created tracks. I think it'd be a good game.
That sounds perfect. It sounds really cool. What I'm picturing in this is you have the Super Mario style level editor. So that's where you put the tracks together in, and then you can jump between all the different graphic styles, like come behind it Nintendo 64 style, or stay isometric in mode 7, Super Nintendo style. I love it. I want it now.
Yep. Ever since I heard it, it's all I can think about now.
Well, the question you proposed, and I guarantee you none of you guys, because you didn't look at the sheet until right now, you're supposed to come up with another game that you wanted to see like in a different genre. So, I put 100-person Mario Kart Battle Royale.
I'll give you 2.
Okay. He did his homework. You see?
Yeah, I know. Jeff is much better at this than we are.
I'm making one up on the spot, so get ready for that. But I would like a Fire Emblem game in the Legend of Zelda universe.
So you want Fire Emblem characters, but Zelda story, or the other way around?
Other way around. Zelda characters in a Fire Emblem game, which is
I mean,
basically kind of the same thing now, but I just want more strategy tactics games. So I want it.
You definitely seem to like those games, and you're gonna need to explain to me why people do, because I can't get into them.
You like board games?
I do like board games.
All right, now eliminate all the social aspects of it of people, and you can play it anytime you want. That is the appeal of a strategy tactics game.
This guy gets it.
This guy.
Well, I'll let you save your second one. I really want to explain what I mean by Resident Evil Tetris.
All right, you have my $60. Keep go, please.
So, it's Tetris, but also zombies. And it doesn't necessarily need to be Resident Evil, but Resident Evil is fresh in my mind, so that's why I picked Resident Evil. But you use a gun to blow body parts off of zombies, and then you try to fill up a space as neatly as possible with all the different body parts, and you win by getting the most massive zombie down in the well.
So the parts fall like this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have a gun, you have your gun, and just blow like a zombie's in front of you. So you're it's like a first-person game from the top, and you're blowing like an arm off a zombie, you're blowing a leg off, and it falls into a pit, and then it comes down a chute, and you try to stack them up as high as you can by getting the most pieces in there.
As long as I'm giving away $1 million ideas, let me pitch your idea back to you.
Okay, please do. Improve
it's a
upon.
Physics simulator game.
Okay.
Screen cuts from black. You see a body in front of you. There's a hacksaw like Surgeon Simulator.
Okay.
In front of you is a locker. You have to hack these body parts off and then contort them into this locker and fill up as much of the locker as you can before time runs out.
So it's like a sociopath version of what's that game where you try to put the pegs into the thing while time runs out? Perfection.
Mm-hmm. Or Operation, Surgeon Simulator, any number of psychopath games that.
I'm gonna go back to drinking vodka.
That was probably the highlight of the episode so far. Warm vodka.
There's an ice cube in here.
I'm trying to think of what other game in a different genre I would like.
You're our resident
Shiny
Pokemon
Digimon.
expert.
So I have to pick Pokemon for a different genre?
Or bring a different genre into the Pokemon style of capturing things. And
what about a gritty Max Payne style Pokemon with bullet physics?
I want to see.
You can go around shooting Pokemon though.
Replace the bullets with a Pokeball?
How about a Pokemon that's for, I hate to say this because adults still really do like it, but I want to see a more adult Pokemon, because I do enjoy the idea of the game and playing it, although the difficulty of the game is very, very low. I mean, Sarah was playing the one on the DS thing, like the Sun and Moon or something like that, and you can easily just level up a basic Pokemon and just lay waste to everything with it. I want to see one that has a higher difficulty and more adult oriented, like just Pokemon in general, less cute ones, because I was always drawn to the ones that were more badass, and I want to see that.
You kind of always felt like a Mr. Mime kind of guy.
No, I liked the ones.
No.
I like the ones like Scyther or the Nidokings, or anything that looked like it could fuck you up was something I liked. And I always just had a team of the cool looking ones, but I want a whole game that's like that instead.
Well, I've got it. I think I've got a pitch for you. So it's set in the Grand Theft Auto universe, but
Which
it's
Grand Theft
Pokemon.
Auto?
5 because it looks the nicest.
Okay.
So you play a pimp, and the idea is to travel around and collect different ladies of the night to work for you, to put together a team of 5 of your best workers
You get 6.
to battle it. To battle a six. Sorry.
You tightly walked that PC line, and it was magnificent, and you need more credit for that.
That's mine, and I think you just named it. What did you just call it? Pimpy Man, Pimpymon, Pimpymon.
Gotta smack them all.
I'll see myself out.
Excuse me while I get this way. At 3 frames a second.
All right, that's a good place for this to end. Max, leave it up for the post show. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. If you managed to stick the way through this, and you want to hear more things like this, you can catch us live every Wednesday here at twitch.tv/GameNightNow. You can catch our back archive over on YouTube, and we're on all the podcast stuff. Guys, we made it. We made it so big. Our first advertising campaign came back, and we made 6 entire cents.
Well done. Well done, everyone.
Getting so close.
We're getting so close to being able to pay you.
What can we buy for 6 cents?
Anyways, I'm Dan for Mex,
Yo.
Steve, and Jeff. We'll see you next week.